Studios here on Long Island, New York. This is the Primal Mindset, brought to you by Go Primal Lifestyle and Fitness Apparel. I got my Dust Pride hoodie on right now, so head to GoPrimalUSA.com. Start wearing the mindset to be the best for the ones that need you most. Use code GPNation and receive a discount. That's GoPrimalUSA.com. Start wearing that mindset today. Also, Proof No More got one of the probably largest non-alcoholic beer selections. You head to proofnomore.com, use code CF ProofNoMore10, and you will get a discount on all the non-alcoholic beverages you can have. Also, Eat Better Meals, a food delivery service here on Long Island. They make food that is nutritious. It is delicious, packed with protein. You can keep calorie content is all on my fitness app, so it is so easy to track. Use code GoPrimal25 for your first order. You get 25% off. If you use GoPrimal10 after that, you will receive 10% off each order. So head to eatbettermeals.com and check them out today. All right, so today we have a special guest, Jason Holzer. He's really taken his past and used it going forward and using it to help people, kids, especially with his 4D athletes program. But before that, I want to kind of talk about today's primal thought, and it took a long time for me to ask for help. I think that's a problem that most men have. So in my darkest days, I thought I had to handle everything. I thought I had to, figure everything out on my own. I thought I had to be strong and not ask for help. And, if I was one thing I can go back and tell my youngest self is, ask for help. It's okay. And, when I was actually able to show my vulnerability is when I found the most strength, and that's when I developed the primal mindset. And that's when, things just started to become a lot better for me. So that's what we are trying to establish with NGBN TV, a men's network that I am a part of, and the Primal Mindset TV show is a part of. It's a channel focusing on the midlife men in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, to say it's okay to ask for help, to have that support system, to have that camaraderie with other guys, because it's not okay for someone to feel like there's no way out and to tragically take their lives, because it affects so many people. And as men, we just got to understand that it is okay to ask for help. It is okay to show your vulnerability. It is not a weakness. It is a form of strength to admit that you can't do something, to admit that you are not good at something, to admit that, hey, I need help getting better at something. It's going to help generation after that, because you're going to show your kids that, it's going to be okay to ask for help. Never give up, but it's okay to ask for help. And I think that's something that we really need to focus on. That is something that my next guest is focusing on. That's something that I'm focusing on with NGBN, which will be launching in January 2024. So that keep a lookout for that. The Primal Mindset will be available on with the other great shows, sporting events, whether they're live or taped, and concerts and pay-per-view events. It's going to be an amazing app for the midlife man, and for men in general. So just keep a lookout for that. But that is my primal thought of the day. As a man, it is okay to ask for help. So with further ado, let's bring Jason on and let's check out this episode. Thanks for watching. So yeah, what's going on, Jason? How are you, man?
Good, man. Yeah, we're having some nice, warm, unseasonably warm weather here, so I'm like soaking it in as long as it's while it's still in the mid to upper 60s here. So
Oh
trying to
wow,
get a lot of outside time in. So
nice. Mid upper 60s. Is that normal for you guys?
no. That's like normally it's in the 40s or 50s at this time of year.
Yeah, it's where we're at. Pretty much that's where we're at. What was it? Is you Kansas City?
Yeah, Missouri, so Midwest. Yeah, so
Okay.
next week I think it's supposed to be more about normal, but I mean I'm outside in shorts and a t-shirt, and it's been like this all week, and I'm like, take it. So it's great. Yeah.
Nice, dude. You born and raised Kansas City? What made you?
No, I grew up in Jeff City, which is about like right between St. Louis and Kansas City, like right in the middle of the
Okay.
state. Went to college in Missouri State, which is Southwest Missouri. Met my wife there, and she's from the Kansas City area, and so ended up here.
Oh, nice. I mean, pretty much kind of same area, right? You never really been on the East Coast or West Coast living or anything?
No, no, I've always been in Missouri. I've always lived in Missouri, yeah. So I haven't lived in any other region besides this area, but I've been to New York twice. But as far as living, um, yeah, I've been here in the Midwest.
Nice. And you played sports in college?
No, just high school. I mean, I played like intramural sports and stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
play anything collegiately. Yeah, I still uh, you know, love to play and that kind of stuff too. So yeah, you stay active, playing big up basketball still. Um, yeah.
Oh, nice. You play in any leagues?
Just we just have like a men's pickup league at church that we get together on Saturday mornings, and there's about 15 of us that go in and play every morning. So every Saturday morning. But
Yeah. Nice.
yeah,
So what kind of made you get into the 4D athletes thing?
um, for me it was a colleague of mine. He approached me whenever we were coaching basketball together. He was like, "Hey,
Mm,
I really think that this could be something that could be unique and different in youth sports." And he was like, "So many people are like a win it cost mentality, and it's hurting our kids. So what if we did more values based coaching and taught kids like how to live life through sports and develop the whole person through sports? Because most of the time it's 95% is the physical element of sports. It's the, what skill can I develop? How can I get faster, stronger, shoot better, hit harder, all these kind of things, right? And what we don't realize is how much coaches have an influence on kids and
mm,
how we can really influence them to be great people and hold them accountable, and give them an opportunity to grow as a person, because maybe you create better people, they're going to build better habits, which are going to build better skill sets. They're going to become better players as a byproduct of developing the person first.
mm. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and we've talked briefly off air, and it's, I mean, it's such a like I guess if kids don't really have that parenting at home to to bring them into that direction or teach them about life or whatever, coaches are probably the next best thing. Um,
Yeah, Billy Graham has a great quote that said, "A coach will influence more people in a year than what most people will in their entire lifetime."
yeah,
And I'm kind of seeing two sides of this coin now. Like my oldest son is 7, so he's kind of getting into some activities and that kind of stuff. And for the longest time, parents have been like, "Man, I've been telling him to shoot his jump shot like this for 8, 10 months. You come in here, you say the exact same thing I'm saying." And he's like, "Oh, coach said it." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I've been telling you. I know."
yeah,
And what I tell parents is, it's not that they're not listening to you, it's that they hear your voice all the time. So it kind
yeah,
of gets a little mundane. And when a coach comes in and says it, he's actually reinforcing the things that you're trying to teach at home. It's just a different voice. And some things, I was like, as long as it clicks, whether it be like, taking care of the things you need to do at home, chores, responsibilities, homework, friendships, then it doesn't matter who it's coming from as long as the message gets across, because you're probably already saying these things. It's just heard in a different way. It just resonates with them differently.
yeah. I mean, as a parent, I can see the frustration because of it. Like, I just told you the same goddamn thing. Why, why you? But like you said, I think maybe the kid hears it. He's like, oh, you know what? Maybe my dad was right. If coach is saying it, then it must be true. Because
Yeah,
it's like you said, you're hearing every day your parents tell you to do this, do that, clean your room. After a while, like you don't even want to listen to them anymore.
yeah. And that's
So
with 40 athletes too. That's the one thing we really are honing in on too, is this sort of village mentality, right? It's not just the parents, it's the teachers, it's the coaches, it's the trusted adults in these kids' lives
mm,
that are quite frankly all responsible to building the next generation of great human beings, exceptional leaders. And if we don't work together And if it's all about just how many trophies and medals and games and tournaments can we win, we're setting our kids up for failure
Mhm.
because that's not what the goal of sports is. Yes, we want to win. Don't get me wrong. Like whenever I play, yes, you want to win, right? But I feel like there's so many lessons you can learn whenever you lose, whenever things don't go your way, whenever the ball doesn't bounce your way, the call doesn't go your way, all those kind of things. Those are the teachable moments that you can help be with your kids in their tougher moments. And then they realize like who's really there for me when things don't go my way.
Mm.
Because everybody's your friend whenever you're winning.
Yeah.
But the people that stick with you are the people that are with you even when things suck or when you're on a losing streak or when things aren't going your way. And how applicable is that to life? We all have seasons in life that were tough, that were dark, that were didn't know if we were going to get through them, you name it, that kind of stuff. But we remember the people that stuck with us in those toughest moments, and we know who's on our team no matter what.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, like you said, man, you learn through the pain, you grow through the pain. And I think that's definitely important to teach kids. I'm already teaching my son. He's, my oldest is 4, and I'm already teaching him that, to just that mentality, not to give up. You get knocked down, you get right back up, and you keep going with it. So it's definitely, man, sports and life is just so, integral. It just goes one without one with the other, just teaching valuable lessons. Did you, like, growing up, did you have someone to teach you those lessons? Did what happened, through growing up that kind of made you want to go this route?
Yeah, I've always been drawn to sports. Like I think it's just the real factor of it. Like it's in time. It's fun. It's engaging. It's exciting. Like it's and I always have just loved to play, whether it was basketball, baseball, in the backyard on an organized team, playing catch, right? I think it's just a connecting experience, right? You feel connected. You feel like you belong. It meets those basic needs of because a lot of times, you have to have somebody to play catch with, right?
Right.
Or you need a team of people that will help you, that will encourage you. And my dad was one of my first coaches in a lot of things in my family, but and even other coaches that I had were other kids' dads, so you just got a great experience of community, of mentors, of people that were looking out for you, and looking out for your best interest. And as I got older, I was like, man, I love sports. I'm one of the 99.9% of people that are not going pro, you
Hmm.
know. So um how can I still stay involved? And it's been through like teaching PE, coaching, and now even, with 40 athletes, making a bigger impact with our ability to use technology here to help other coaches and parents
Mm.
realize the value, how valuable sports can be if it's gone about in a certain way.
Mm.
And unfortunately too, like I lost my dad to suicide whenever I was 17, right? He was a great guy. He was a bald father, great husband, but there was this inner enemy, if you will, that was causing a lot of pain and suffering within him. And I've realized this recently as I've studied, why people take their own lives and stuff
Mm.
for and it's many reasons, right? But um It's and so there's a mental health piece of it too, like helping our kids with their mental health, which is a huge issue as well, in our society because of, different pressures put on them, social media, pandemic, a lot of factors. It's just an ever-changing world that can be tougher for our kids to navigate than it was whenever we were kids. So that's a lot of in a roundabout way,
Mm.
you know, sports and helping kids with mental health and my story with mental health as well, has been a big piece of why I've been really gravitated towards sports and just the impact that can be really made, through that.
Wow. And yeah, 17, that's tough, man. That's you just kind of coming into manhood. That's when you need that coach, and your dad, that's the time when you really need them. Now, were you the oldest out of your siblings? Did
Mm.
you have how many siblings did you have?
I have 2 younger siblings, and I was the oldest one, yeah,
Right.
and they were, so, and I'm the only and there's 2 sisters. I'm the only boy in the family too, so, they always say like, "Hey, you're an adult when you're 18." I'm like, "That's baloney, man."
Yeah, yeah,
You're still a kid. It's
yeah,
17, 18, you know, a and that's like an old tradition thing that the Army needed. You got out of high school, you're 18, "Hey, you know what? You're gonna be an adult now." I mean, I remember being in my mid-20s, I'm like, "I'm still trying to figure out this whole, like, adulting thing." And then you get married, then you have kids, you're
yeah.
like, "Man, now this is adulting, right? This
Yeah,
is." I went to college and I was like, "This is kind of like, adulting on training wheels," right? You kinda have but you always have support systems, that kinda stuff right
right.
there for you, but, man, when you get married and have kids, that's when adulting really
Yeah,
begins.
you're on your own, man. That's it. That's your
That's it,
family.
right.
You gotta take care of them,
Put your
and
bootstraps on. Yeah,
yeah, you get a house and hey, this it's all on you now. Something happens, something goes
yeah,
wrong, you gotta fix it or
yeah.
you gotta figure it out,
You gotta
and
find a way. Yeah,
but I mean when you're 17, 18, you do feel like you're a man. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I know for me anyway, I did. Um and you think you have it all figured out, but you don't have shit figured out. You don't know what the hell is going. I mean, I'm sure there are a few that at that age have it figured out and on the right path, but um it is what it is. I've come to realize that, you know, everyone has a different path. Everyone has different circumstances. The details are different, but it's just all about, learning through your mistakes, learning through falling down, just getting stronger. Cause if, we talked about it, life will knock you down and it'll try to keep you down if you let it. And unfortunately, there are some people, as you know, that just can't overcome the things that are eating them up. um and that's very unfortunate, and that's part of the things that I'm involved with, the NGBN network, and I know you're familiar with the men's network that we're in. It's all about the mental health for the midlife man, because I was unaware that has the highest suicide rate of men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s.
mm,
um at first, like, being shocked hearing that, but the more and more you think about it, it makes sense because, like we talked about, now you're a man, now you have your family. So when shit's not going right, or if you're holding on to stuff from the past and it's consuming you, um, I think you just feel like there's no way out.
yeah. I give kudos to, women. Women are really good about gathering, talking things out,
Mm,
sharing struggles. There's been this, stigma with men that, we gotta be the one that figures it out. Like if you share like you're struggling with something, like that's a quote unquote sign of weakness, right? And
right,
that you're gonna be like thought less of, or you name it. Where the truth is, I find it like if somebody's willing to share with me, hey man, I need some help with this. That's like a sign of strength because you realize,
right,
hey, I know what I'm really good at, but I have some things that I'm not, and I need some help with this. I'll be honest, right? And so I think there's a good balance of like being confident in what you know, but also being confident like I don't know everything, and I
right.
need I need outlets to like help me out whenever I am struggling. And it doesn't have to be you have to announce it to the whole world, but just having 1 or 2 people, having a counselor, having a therapist, having somebody that you have an outlet towards that can help you work through some of these things that because otherwise the stories get exaggerated in your head and you realize like, man, that was way worse
Yeah,
in my mind than what it actually was.
right. Yeah, you got to have that support system. And hopefully, people that have it, use it. That's a big thing. And I had that mindset for a while too, where it was like, man, if I ask for help, I'm weak. If I can't figure this shit out on my own, I'm weak. I'm not a man.
Yeah.
And that can eat away at you, especially as a man.
And I remember even being 17, 18, and my mom would suggest like, hey, let's go see counseling, that kind of stuff. And my ego kicked in, like, nah, I got it figured out, mom. I'll
Yeah,
figure it out good.
yeah,
It was 20 years ago, right? Where it was definitely not as acceptable for men to go seek counseling, right? If my buddies would have found out I was going to counseling, I mean, that might have even made it worse, too, right?
right.
So, but now I think, I have no problem. Yeah, I gladly go see a counselor sometimes twice a month just to, figure things out or kind of
Yeah,
make some sense of things. Um, and I have no problem admitting that. Like it's helped me be a better parent, be a better spouse, because I've learned to understand myself better. I learned to understand like when things that turn to trigger me or get me like bothered more so or frustrated, and how I can, self-regulate better to again be a more emotionally intelligent person, and help me work through some things, even as they're happening, right? Because sometimes, you know, it's just you and you got to figure it out on your own because you don't have somebody right there with you. But having those tool sets that professionals can help you
Right.
with can help you in those moments whenever you feel like you're working through life on your own.
Yeah. I mean, I was in a similar situation. I lost my dad at 13, and then definitely struggled with it. And even, probably around 17, 18, 19 is when it really started to affect me. Because, again, like that's when you're starting to kind of come into manhood. And I remember my mom saying the same thing, you should go talk to someone. I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to talk. What are they going to do? What are they going to do for me? I
Yeah,
had the mentality of, they can't help because my dad's dead unless he comes back to life. Like no one's gonna help. You know what I mean? Like I just couldn't, comprehend. I wasn't mature enough mentally to understand like just talking about it and what help. And um, it took me, till I was about close to 30 years old before I finally went to see someone and talk to a therapist. And man, it was just like, I remember just the first day just saying like it just felt like this huge weight off me. Like you like I remember just like feeling that, like almost like physically feeling it. It was pretty crazy. Um and obviously, you have to keep going. It's not a one-time thing where you go and you're healed, because it was almost like I mean, I don't really want to put it this way, but it was almost like I was chasing that high after that. Cause I went like, it was like the first time you go feel that feeling, and I'm like, I thought I was gonna feel that every time I left the therapist off, like, but you don't,
yeah,
and eventually, obviously months go by, and it was just little by little, you just start feeling better. Um,
yeah. You
but
feel
yeah,
like a sense of relief, right? You feel like
yeah,
you're not
yeah,
like carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, And I
yeah,
think one thing I did do in my late teens and 20s, though, I did write stuff down, and I
mm,
did feel like if I would go back and tell my 17-year-old self, like, hey, the one thing that you did help yourself with, kudos to, was you found an outlet of writing. Like you didn't have to you didn't want to tell people, you didn't want to, let people know what's going on, but you at least wrote it down. And that was at least a good start. So I would encourage people, even like if you don't feel like, the stigma of counseling, that kind of stuff, just and the cool thing is you only want to read it, so it doesn't matter what it's spelled, what it looks like,
right,
if you can
right,
read it again. But just the act of like having a pen in your hand and just, letting it all out can be, I mean, not maybe as beneficial, but it still has a lot of benefits of just getting things out of your mind, out of your head. And even sometimes really like seeing like how silly, funny, and ridiculous it is. If you like go back and read some things that you wrote down, you're like, oh man, that played out a lot better than what I thought it was going to,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean that's something I would probably tell myself. I mean, there's a lot of things I would tell my 17-year-old self, but one is, yeah, get that shit out of your head. Put it on paper. Talk if you're not going to talk, put it on paper. Get it swirling out of your head because it's always worse in your head.
yeah,
Whatever situation it is or whatever you're thinking, it's always you can write it down and then, like you said, look at it a day later and be like, oh, what the fuck was I
was that
worried
so mad
about
about?
that for? Yeah, like that didn't even doesn't even affect me now. So yeah, that's definitely true, man. I like that. So where could people kind of learn more about the 4D athletes and
Yeah,
where look you up on social media?
yeah, we're on Instagram, LinkedIn, 40 athletes. I'm also on those as well. Our website is 4D athletes, as the four dimensional
Mhm.
athletes.com. And we have, like I said, online resources, courses, our social media pages. We have we just posted today about um, a lesson that Michael Jordan got from his mom whenever he got cut from the varsity team in basketball, and kind of what she told him to do, you
Mhm.
know, get in the gym and work harder. So some of those like really taking sports and extracting these life lessons from it, to help people get through any season of life.
Yeah, nice, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It was kind of great to kind of talk to you again, and I'm glad my audience can kind of hear your story and see what you're doing, and just how important it is to ask for help if you need it. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Well, Chris, man, I appreciate the work you're doing, and just know that however many people we help, you never know what that person might be help. Hear something that helps them become the best version of themselves. So,
Mm,
keep going. I appreciate you. I know it's this podcasting thing is a long journey.
yeah,
Can feel overwhelming sometimes. You can feel like, why am I doing this? But keep at it, man. It's helping people.
thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Yep,
All right, talk to you soon.
sounds good.
All right.